Hello, my beautiful friends, and welcome back to the Whole Soul Podcast. I'm so excited that you are here. It has been a journey to find this spot, to get on the mat. I've literally been looking for a space to set up and just drop into a beautiful flow here for the last 30 minutes. So I am sweating a lot right now, but I'm so ready to get into this episode because we've been offline, well, off of this podcast offline for the last month. I think the last episode I posted was for the new year, which was 25 lessons I learned in 2025, which was a big year, as we know. And yeah, now we're starting the year of the horse. Actually, I think that calendar begins February 17th. So, for a little bit of context, if you don't know, 2025 was the year of the snake, which is all about shedding old identities, shedding what no longer serves. And as for my life and for everybody that I know, 2025 was a difficult, challenging year. So, yeah, now we're in 2026. This is my first episode or second episode of 2026. And the reason I was gone for the last month or so was because I was at a yoga teacher training in Costa Rica. And my intention with going to this training, well, first of all, I'll let you know what this episode is about, which is the transformations that I went through and the things, the lessons, the pieces of wisdom that I'm carrying with me, or the lessons that I learned throughout the journey of this transformation. So, my intention with going to yoga teacher training wasn't to specifically become a yoga teacher. It's a training that I've been wanting to do since I was probably like 17 or 18, but never got to doing it. I was actually on my way to one about 3 years ago with one of my best friends, and we couldn't get into the country that it was being hosted in because of a shot that we didn't have. So we went back to the US, and I took that as a sign at the time that it wasn't meant for me at that time. And just now I came to this realization that I have to go. And I was very close to not going to this training just in December when I signed up because it just didn't make sense in many ways at the time. But I pushed through, and thank Goddess, thank God, thank the heavens that I did, because I would not be sitting here in this spot, in this state of being, with the depth of self-love and just peace with myself that I feel right now, which is what I was seeking. So I went for self-discovery, and I really did my best to have as little expectations as possible for the entire journey, because I find that when I put a certain image on something, or I have this vision of how I want things to turn out, I sometimes disappoint myself, or it doesn't go that way. And I think that's also an aspect of the control that we have as humans for wanting to control outcomes or wanting things to be a certain way. So this journey for me was a practice in just surrendering to what is, because I felt this call to go there and do this training. I didn't exactly know why, but my intention was strong, and the rest I let up to God to decide how that was going to unfold for me. And wow, it was one of the most transformative, life-changing experiences of my life, and I was so ridiculously sober the whole entire time, which is what makes it even more beautiful, because a lot of the transformations that I've been through in my life were through plant medicines, or plant medicine ceremonies, which were very expanding for my consciousness. But to go through something very sober and very present and very in my body has been just a really beautiful thing to witness and experience within myself. So, wow, I've gotten so much confidence from going to this training, because something I really struggled with before was just this fear of being seen, fear of speaking in front of people, especially like groups of people. Even if it would be like three people in front of me, I would have this fear of speaking in front of people. So I knew that yoga teacher training would be good for me because here I am learning how to teach. I'm getting the skills, learning all of the cue points on how to guide someone through into their body. So by the end of it, I mean, let me start with how beautiful it was that our teachers would throw us right into the practice after we would learn every single asana, which are the physical poses of yoga. And not just me, but everyone at the training, we were like, whoa, this is so edgy. And we were nervous, but as the days went by, there was this confidence that I felt building within myself, showing me how capable I am of learning something new, applying it, and just becoming an embodied teacher of that. So that was a mind-blowing thing for me that just expanded so much because, you know, when we stop becoming students, when we stop going through trainings, or when we stop learning in general, we're not really evolving like in a mental way, or we're not learning something and applying it. So for me at least, it's been really interesting not being in school for quite some years now and going back into this educational container and just showing myself that, wow, like I am capable of growing and transforming in such a short period of time, and also like guiding people through this life-changing practice that is yoga, not just through the physical postures, but through pranayama, through breath work, through meditation, and just holding a safe space and a safe container for that inner transformation and that inner peace to have the container to start taking place. So that was very profound and beautiful. Something else that I experienced during the yoga teacher training is this excitement to just be who I am and like see how I interact with people outside of my relationship, outside of my known environment and the known people in my life. Because, you know, as you go through life, you're surrounded by most likely like the same people every single day, and you have your family, your friends, your partner that you have like reflecting back at you who you are or who you think you are. So that was also another intention, is just feeling like I needed space from my partner, not because anything was wrong, but because I felt like I needed to find who I am in the version of myself that I am right now, that I'm evolving into without my partner being associated with me everywhere I go. And I honestly think that's a really healthy and important thing for the longevity of any relationship that you're in. Because when you lose a sense of self, or like your authentic truth and sovereignty without that other person, you become codependent and you kind of lose yourself in that relationship. So that was honestly something that was starting to happen with me and my partner. And yeah, there's nothing wrong, but I was starting to get frustrated and just depressed and sad. Oh, there is a little snake. Whoa. Okay, if I don't bother him, he won't bother me. So, anyways, now that the snake is gone, I can come back into my flow and just feel safer in my surroundings since I am in nature. But yeah, essentially, this time has given me such space to really reclaim my identity and like who I am and see how I interact in a new space of people, of 26 new humans that I don't know. And that in itself was a whole like social interpersonal relationship where you go to a completely new country and a new place and yeah, you're assigned this room with a roommate. You don't know who your roommate is. There's 26 new people from all over the world, mostly. And yeah, you're just thrown into this 3-week experience together where you're learning about the same things and you have the opportunity to get to know each other. So that was really interesting and not like anything I've ever experienced before. So I'm really grateful for the self-discovery that came through that, and just being proud of myself in how I was showing up for myself with others, and just the love that I carry in my heart and how I wore that on my sleeve. And if that wasn't fully received by someone, not really taking it personally. Like, maybe, yeah, I did go into a process a few times just, you know, doubting or being like, wow, is it me? Like, is there something wrong with me? Those are kind of like the intrusive thoughts that would come in, but I would always come back to my center and be like, no, like the love you give isn't always the love that you will receive. And as long as you know that you are being in this frequency of love and purity and joy and sharing that with everybody, no matter who it is, and that's not being received, that is not a you problem. And with that comes this awareness of your intuition, right? You're showing up embodied after you've done a lot of inner work, you've done a lot of healing work. And so you have this almost like heightened intuition on energy. You feel the room, you read the room, and we all have this skill, this innate quality within us of our intuition, but a lot of us are blocked from it, or, you know, we don't allow ourselves to trust ourselves. So we depend on the opinions or the reflections of others to make our own decisions. But this space really allowed me to create my boundaries, stay so rooted in my center, and trust that I will find my people in this group, and I don't have to pretend to be somebody that I'm not, or I don't have to put myself in a box of what I feel other people want me to be liked. Because if someone doesn't like me for who I am, what are you going to do? Like, they're not meant to be your friend or your person, anyways. Something we learned in one of our classes in the training was this concept of attraction and aversion, and how it's this flow in life where, you know, like attracts like, and you will be attracted to certain things and you will be averted by certain things. But this is the concept of witness consciousness, to just notice that within yourself and take inventory, take that as information, and make decisions from this place of your intuition, of taking note what you're attracted to and averse to. This was something really huge for me because I used to be a really strong people pleaser, somebody that, you know, was more quiet in their life. I moved high schools in the middle of my freshman year and just had some childhood things, and yeah, I made myself very small and quiet and tried to make myself as unnoticeable as possible. Although deep down I craved connection and depth, and I wanted to be friends with people, especially like the people that were considered cool. So being in this experience and just seeing how much I've grown from that girl that was so insecure and anxious and wanted to be a part of the group so badly. What the hell? Wow, there's things here alive around me. But yeah, just noticing my growth from that point of smallness to not making myself small when I feel like there's somebody that, you know, isn't receiving me, or there's, you know, this feeling of jealousy. Maybe it's not even conscious from the person, but there were definitely feelings of judgment and jealousy and comparison and competition that I felt, or just, you know, a lack of openness or lack of reciprocity, or yeah, just being cliquey. There was definitely high school dynamics, and that's what it brought up for me, was this sense of like, whoa, I feel feelings coming up that I haven't felt since high school, since like cliques and friend groups and drama. So that was also really interesting. That was kind of shocking and like took me aback, because coming to a yoga teacher training, I guess you don't expect that, because we're all in this like conscious space. We're all here to grow, right? But there's so many different types of people from so many different walks of life. And, you know, everyone has their own traumas, their own experiences that shape them into who they are. So it's not anybody's fault. But yeah, it's interesting because I've done so much inner work in my life to heal and just become a more whole human with greater awareness. So just having greater awareness around certain things is like really powerful, and it's been very helpful. But yeah, it also sometimes makes you feel, or I'll say this for myself, it makes me feel a little bit more isolated sometimes, because I'm like, am I the only one seeing this? And yeah, it doesn't mean I'm better or worse. It just is what it is. So yeah, it's kind of like the experience was this psychic school activation of noticing things, but still being tested, or it served as a test and an opportunity for me to stay in the frequency of love and acceptance and forgiveness, although you won't resonate with everyone. You can't please everybody. Not everybody's going to like you. And I think that was the most challenging thing for me during this whole experience, was not resonating fully, or not making deep connections or friendships with every single person there, and just having like less than, on one hand I can count, people that I really felt safe with. Like my nervous system felt safe, and like I could exhale and actually connect without this sense of jealousy or competition or comparison or unconscious shadows that were being projected out unconsciously. So it's not anybody's fault. So yeah, that was really interesting. Next thing that I noticed in terms of transformation and growth is just how deeply your environment matters, and the people that you surround yourself with, how deeply that has an impact on you. So, for example, I was living in Playa Now with my partner, and for a long time now, I was feeling, and I knew in my soul that that is not the place that I want to be, and it's not the place that I feel expanded in. It served as a really beautiful space of transformation for me, and that place has changed my life. I love it forever. It will always be a piece of my heart, and it will always feel like home in a way. But there was always this knowing of like, yeah, we got to move on and like go somewhere else. And coming to this yoga teacher training in Nosara, Costa Rica, we were there last year for a few weeks. I felt such an expanse in my soul. It was like the land kind of just opened, and I felt magnetic. I felt aligned, and I felt energized every single day. Whereas I started waking up in the now just feeling depressed and drained and like unmotivated, uninspired, unhappy. And here I was feeling so excited to wake up and like inspired to live, and all of these ideas and inspiration started coming through me, which I haven't experienced in such a long time. So it felt like a prayer answered being there on the land in Nosara, like learning yoga, something that I'm genuinely so passionate about and I'm going to use as a tool in my work, in my community, in my retreats, in any of the work that I choose to do with creating safe spaces for women to reconnect with their body, their intuition, their heart, and their soul, and just recultivating a relationship with myself and my truth, and like finding what that is, how I express myself over a period of 4 weeks, and forming new relationships that have been so fundamental in mirroring to me who I am at this part of my life, or how I'm being received. So that in itself was such a transformation, and leaning into that deeper, like really surrendering and being like, God, I am here to serve you, and also like please guide me to where I'm meant to go, to the exact people I'm supposed to meet. It's opened so many doors and experiences, and put me in rooms that I would have never imagined myself being in the beginning of this whole entire journey, that have just opened my capacity to see what is possible for myself, what I can create, and yeah, what I'm capable of creating in this life. So all of those things combined, and like becoming a yoga teacher at the end of it, which is so exciting, and like wanting to share that gift now because of what it's done for me. Just like full fucking exhale. Pardon my French, but I'm feeling expressive and just so grateful to be here. Plus, I'm in this transition right now of leaving or being let go of what I was once doing. And I will say it, I've been praying for the space to fully lean into what I'm creating right now, which is the Whole Soul Collective, my community for women, to drop into your body, to self-discover, to connect authentically with like-minded women because wow, like being alone on your journey of life and not having like-minded people that speak your language or match your frequency and even want to step into and embody a higher frequency is just so painful and challenging. So community has become a super huge part of my mission and my work, and the Whole Soul Collective has been up and running since July. It was just something that I felt I had to start and do, and the last 6-7 months have been so freaking beautiful and life-changing. And to just see the women that I attracted through this container that have joined, and the conversations and the depth and the purity and the expansion that we've experienced in this community has been so healing, not just for the women in the community, but also for me. And to just come into this realization that a part of my purpose here is to just create spaces so that we can all vibe and like, yeah, embody and step into a higher frequency together has been so potent and powerful. And yeah, we're starting the Artist's Way container next week. 2 women just joined this week, and yeah, I've never been so excited to just full send on what I want to do. And if I can just channel all of my heart and energy because I have the space and opportunity to do it right now, like, why can't I just lean into that, trust it, and see what unfolds without feeling like scarcity or lack, which will obviously always come up, but alchemizing that in the moment has been so cool, and I'm living it. I'm breathing it right now. So it's an exciting time, and we're entering the year of the horse. I'm feeling that energy. Like, I just feel so grateful right now, and also coming back into this podcasting space with this greater feeling and purpose and clarity around why I'm here, and just sharing the things that I'm going through, sharing what I'm learning with you, because something I've also been reflected, or something that people have reflected to me, is that I explain things to them, or the way in which I express myself helps them come to realizations within themselves on things that they are also feeling but can't necessarily put into words. I don't know if that landed, but yeah. I feel like that is one of my gifts and something that I am good at because I'm so internal and look within really deeply, and I'm just very introspective. So that's a big part of this podcast, is just sharing my experiences and the inner transformations that I'm going through, and share it with you guys, because if I'm going through it, you are also probably going through it in your own unique way. So yeah, those are my transformations from yoga teacher training. By the way, this is also cute. I don't know if you noticed, I'm holding a little stick as my microphone. And I'm also in this beautiful pineapple field that the landlord here created herself. Like, every time she cut a pineapple, you just plant the head in the ground and you get this beautiful garden here. To wrap up this podcast, I just want to take a moment. Taking a deep breath. You can also take a deep breath with me, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Thank you for being here with me. Like, I'm just feeling really blessed and grateful for life right now, with all of the ups and downs and the growth and the expansion and the overwhelm and the anxiety and the chaos of it all. It is all beautiful. Wherever you are in your life, just know you're exactly where you're meant to be. Even if it's hard to understand why you're in that place right now, it is there. It is serving you. And eventually you will understand why you were in that place. I like to say, and I like to believe, and I do believe that God is preparing you and forming you to step into your purpose. And every single hardship and challenge that you go through is paving the way. It's paving your journey, your unique essence, your unique story that you can share with the world. So trust that. Trust it, trust it, trust it. And I'm saying it from this place right now of going through one of the hardest years of my life last year, and this yoga teacher training experience really solidifying and kind of closing this circle where I fully saw and understood why I went through everything I went through to get me to that point. So, thank you. I love you for being here, or I love you. Thank you for being here. And yeah, if you feel called to be a part of an authentic community of women where we self discover and really just hold the field to step into a higher frequency and hold it together, join the Whole Soul Collective. It is such a beautiful space with such incredible women, and we're going through the Artist's Way right now. And going forward, I'm going to be hosting quarterly group containers, all themed on different areas of wholeness. So you can think like self-worth and self-confidence, holistic nutrition and eating to support your hormones, your gut health, and your energy, nervous system regulation, and having a somatic toolkit. These are all topics of group containers that we will go into this year. So if you're feeling called, join in the link below. I hope you have the most beautiful day, and I'm so excited to come back on here next week. Ciao!